What are the societal implications of that?
The societal implications, just like the uses, are incredibly broad, and I don't think that we are even close to understanding what the implications are going to be even 6 months from now or a year from now. Like any technology, there's pros and cons. There's ways in which they can be used for incredibly benevolent and positive purposes. You can imagine things like being able to rapidly scale up things like mental health care for populations that typically don't have the time or money or access to those types of treatments and that type of therapy. And of course, the dark side is these things are they're already being used for and will continue to be used for large-scale manipulation purposes, propaganda, and so on. And of course, everywhere in between, they're impacting not just kind of the political sphere, the sociological sphere, they're impacting arts, sciences, everything, every aspect of life is being touched by these models.
You know, Ryan, at the beginning, when we prepared for this program, you said something interesting. You said that AI, the understanding of AI and large language models, actually helps understand the human brain. Mm-hmm. How does it do that? How does it help us?
Well, there are a couple of ways in which people are starting to explore how we can use it to understand kind of the mind and human psychology. One of them is that, as you know, this is often described in how they're being trained, is they're being trained on incredibly large amounts of data, virtually all language data that these companies can get their hands on. Now, historically, most of this is language data that we're talking about for something like ChatGPT. Psychologists for virtually since the beginning of psychology have looked to language as some reflection of how people think, how they feel. It structures our interactions with other people, our identities. So there's a lot of clues about how humans think, how they feel, why they do what they do that are embedded in our language. And so people are using these models not only to kind of probe them as pseudo-humans, so to speak, to see, can we understand the way that people think by understanding how these models are generating their outputs. So that's one way in which people are using them to understand human psychology. Another, or a second approach, is essentially to use them to make evaluations of other people. So you can have something like ChatGPT read a person's text, their social media, transcripts of interactions with other people, and make educated guesses. Do you think this person is depressed? Do they have insomnia? What types of pathologies, what types of problems do you think this person might have? And assign a number to that. And we're finding that it does a spookily good job at that.